the 82 team, it started out with me playing point. That year I wound up being moved from the shooting guard to the point. Rosetta Guilford played the shooting guard. Valerie Walker played the small forward. Deborah Walker played the power forward. And Sharon Taylor played the center.
We knew coming in we were different. We just knew that we had a goal. We were going to win a championship. We didn't take no for an answer from anybody. We may be in practice and coach say practice is over. We're like, no, wait a minute, we need to go over so-and-so again.
It was more exciting playing here probably than on the road because we played in front of crowds, whereas when we were on the road, we probably didn't always get that. Or if we did, it was because we were coming to town.
What made it special, we was a family first. Stringer kept us together. And it was just, I never played for a team that was just so much talent on one team. You had a starting five and then a second unit that can come in and start also.
And I remember we played against Old Dominion, and I think their center was Ann Donovan. I think she was like 6'8" or 6'9". I remember that. It just stuck out to me. There was a garbage strike there, and it just was lined up like lines and lines of garbage bags all throughout New York. And I remember that. And that's the year that Miss Stringer's daughter was sick. She had meningitis, and so Miss Stringer was just back and forth on trains and trying to come back to us and coach us and go see about her daughter and everything. And we knew that we wanted to make it to the championship for her, and we wanted to win it.
It was far different than the situation I had in the high school where I coached because we had the amenities and there was not much of anything here at Cheyney. In fact, the one year that we made it to the championships, we had probably the worst situations that we could have experienced. One that Coach Stringer's daughter was taken ill, and she was away from the team for a bit. And then also, Coach Hall was under construction. They didn't have the floor, so we had to take a bus down to Glen Mills and practice.
No, it's true. We didn't have anything. But you know what? We had our self-respect, and we worked our tails off. We worked hard because we believed that we could beat anybody, and so we never made excuses for what we didn't have.
It all started with the bonding that we made when we came onto campus and we lived over in Truth Hall. We all lived on the same wing, 6th floor. So we did everything together. We practiced together. We went to, if we came in the same year, you had similar classes together. But it was the bonding, letting everybody know that we had a sisterhood here, okay? And if you mess with one, you mess with all.
And just the talk, the chatter, the negative conversations, like we would go on the road and, where's Cheyenne State at? Where y'all from? What y'all do? It's like, wow, you don't know, we're gonna show you.
Well, travel-wise, I didn't think that we should have had to travel being the number 2 overall seed in the tournament. We was the number 2 seed. We got to play one game at Cheyney, and that was the game against Auburn, and we were on spring break, so we didn't even have any fans up here at that time during the break. And I remember us being down by 10 points in that Auburn game, and we went into the classroom, and I was like, Shay, that was our center, and her name was Sharon Taylor, we called her Shay. I was like, Shay, and then I said something to Red, Rosetta Guilford, because we all had Dr. Tate's criminology class. And Dr. Tate had told us if we make it to the championship, that whatever grades we was bringing in to the finals, we wouldn't have to take the final. We can take the final if we felt that it would help our grade go up. And if it didn't, we wouldn't have to take the final because we was out there competing. We were students all year, and he wanted us to focus on the game. So I looked at them and I said, y'all want to take that final? Because I sure enough don't want to take that final. And they said, no. And I said, well, let's go out there and turn this thing around. And then we scored like 20 points or so before Auburn, even scored again. We outscored them, we tied them, and then we went up 10, and we never looked back.
We never had an excuse. We had 99 excuses to stop playing and quit. We had one reason to keep going. And that was this team.
After that game, we was headed to North Carolina to play North Carolina State. And North Carolina State had Linda Page. Linda Page was from Philadelphia. She went to Dobbins, I went to U City, and we competed, twice out the year against her. Well, she had made a statement in the papers, like looking past Cheyney, like Cheyney didn't even exist. And, they were going to the next round against whoever won between Kansas State, and I can't remember who they played, but whoever won that game, they had already written Cheyney off. And we all looked at that article in practice, and I said to them, she's not going to get 10 points because she was their leading scorer and everything. I said, she's not going to get 10 points, and I'm going to defend her, okay? And she's going to regret that she ever said that, Cheyney who, okay? And that's exactly what happened. We blew North Carolina State out to go on to play Kansas State. And before the Kansas State game, it was interesting because we were practicing and we had to start using signals, code signs and all that because it was supposed to be a closed practice, but Coach Stringer and the other coaches noticed people up in the top in the bleachers looking down, like as if though they were taking notes and everything, on the game and whatnot. And so we had to start not calling our plays, and then we stopped running our plays and went into shooting drills and everything like that for conditioning because we didn't want them to know our sets and whatnot.
To get to that point, we talk about a hostile environment. Let's talk about being in the game and the coach calls you niggers. Let's talk about winning a basketball game and you go to the cafeteria to eat and they throw food on you. We're talking about in the 80s, not the 60s or the 50s. We had been through the fire. We were molded for pressure.
I knew we was gonna win. I had no doubt because the way we practice every day, 3-4 times a day, like we're going for the gold.
To play Louisiana Tech, and we had no fear over Louisiana Tech either because Coach Stringer had told us they was the mirror image of us offensively, so we knew they could score and we could score, but what she didn't tell us at the time, what we saw when we was in that game, when they made substitutions, they got bigger.
So when we stepped on that court, it was the same thing. There was no doubt in my mind that we was not going to win that game. But it was heartbreaking. Just like for any other finalist, it's heartbreaking. But we were told to hold our heads up. And it's hard, no matter how many times they tell you to hold your head up. It's very hard.
Right on the bus ride home, and just like I think everybody just in their own thoughts. It's a good ride because we're good. We're just like, it wasn't supposed to end like this. So it's a quiet ride home. We're on the bus, and the bus turns right there on Creek and Cheyney Road. And we sort of hit that little bend. And you look outside, man, it's like everybody on campus is outside with bed sheets and signs and hollering and screaming. And I think it woke us up, and it just helped us to realize, y'all still champs. Y'all belong to us. Y'all are champs.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, it was a lot left after the 82. And the 83, we should have been to our second Final Four in a row. Again, we're the higher seed, okay? We get sent to Penn State to play at Penn State University. Very hostile place for Cheyney to play since I was at Cheyney, okay? It was a big rivalry. It was always packed there, and it was always close games. Either we winning by 1 or 2, or they were winning by 1 or 2. So we're there, we're in the game. When we go into the game, before every game, we already knew that we were playing against 7 people, okay? It was 5 against 7, all right? And that game in particular, it showed its ugly hand of 5 against 7. That game stayed close back and forth all the way down to the seconds till we had the ball with maybe about 8 seconds left on the clock. Coach Stringer had taken time out, giving us the play, drew the play up, when to take the shot so we would have a chance to rebound. I think we were either down one or it was tied. And so she called the play. I came off the screen. I was going to take this. I was the one who was going to take the shot. And I had told Deb before I would take the shot because I already knew they was going to foul and whatnot because they was getting away with fouls all through that game and they weren't called. I said, Deb, if it's going to fall, it's not going to fall long. It's going to fall short because of the contact. Position yourself on, which would have been the right side of the basket to get the rebound. Ain't nobody going to be able to out-jump you. You're going to jump over everybody and get the rebound. I promise you, it's not going on the other side of the rim. It's going to fall. It's going to fall off the rim on the side that you're going to position yourself. Ball comes in. Go down to about 5-6 seconds, take the shot, it falls right there. And Deb, right there, Deb went up one time. They all on her. They don't call a foul. She gets the rebound, surges up again. They're fouling her. They don't call it. Got one last time. She gets it a third time. She goes up. You hear the smacks. You feel the contact. They don't blow the whistle. Coach Stringer ran off that bench. How could you not call the fouls? How could you come back? How could you not call the fouls? She was so hurt that they took that game from us. That would have been our second Final Four in a row.
I think that once we were in the huddle, I believe that we would always say togetherness. So I would think that we're a band of sisters.
If I would have went to another university, I probably would have made one friend or two friends out of the whole team. Here, I have a sisterhood.
It's just after winning these close games, just coming together and, you know, whether we lost or won, everybody still keeping their heads together and letting each other know that it was okay, whether we won or lost, that we still a family.
Cheyney embodies home. It embodies family. It embodies tradition. It embodies heritage.
Me and my roommate still call each other roommate. Me and most of my teammates are this close. You know, the Cheyney family, we're still this close.
It was like I keep saying, it just felt like family. Family, like a family reunion. You're still in touch with those people. They're still in touch with you. And now we're talking about our children and our children's children. And it's just, my main wish from all of this is that I see Miss Stringer get a championship before she retires.
But we were appreciative of anything that we had, and that's really what it was like. And it's changed a lot. But there's not a lot of things that they're going to allow schools like ours, small schools, to ever participate, you know, at the highest level. But see, on the women's side of it, the reason why they were saying that Cheyney was the first HBCU school that's ever played for a national championship, and that will never happen again. And the reason why I say that is because we were able to go because, you know, the AI, you know, because of the NCAA Title IX. That's what afforded us an opportunity to go. It was Title IX, you know. But I mean, things have changed dramatically now. But see, everybody stepped in and tried to take part in Title IX simply because if a school was receiving funding or aid, then they had to acknowledge, you know, the women and give us an equal opportunity. And that's what Title IX was really all about.